Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 1st of September. Rescue efforts end in India's Mumbai building collapse, 34 dead. Afghan President calls on insurgent groups to choose path of peace in Eid address. And now for all the details. Rescue operations ended at the building collapse site in Mumbai city of India's western Maharashtra province on Friday. The death toll from the 6-story building collapse a day ago also rose to 34.
Rescuers on Friday called off operations at a building collapse site in India's western Mumbai city, believing that no more persons were trapped under the debris. Personnel from Fire Brigade, National Disaster Response Force or NDRF and the civic bodies scoured the debris, pulling out the dead and the injured. On Thursday, a 117-year-old building in the congested Bendi Bazaar area in South Mumbai came crashing down, killing over 30. This took place 2 days after torrential rain brought the maximum city to its knees. According to rescue officials, 13 people have been rescued and 33 bodies have been recovered from the incident site.
जो हमारा रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन है वो पूरी तरह का खत्म हो गया है अभी। कल फायर लोगों को बचाते समय कुल हमारे 6 जवानों को इंजरी हुई थी, उनमें के 2 जवानों के ऊपर ट्रीटमेंट जेजे में चल रहा है। इसके अलावा एक एनडीआरएफ के जवान को भी इंजरी हुई थी।
Chief Minister of the province Devendra Fadnavis has ordered an inquiry into the incident and announced a solution of around $8,000 each for the next of kin of the deceased. The building has been declared unsafe by the building regulator in 2011, but many people had stayed on living in it, reports said.
Moving on. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj called on Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena in Colombo on Friday. Both the leaders discussed bilateral issues of mutual collaboration.
Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj on Friday held bilateral talks of mutual collaboration with Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena in Colombo. Swaraj is on a 2-day visit to Sri Lanka to attend the 2nd edition of the Indian Ocean Conference or IOC. Earlier in the day, she also met her Sri Lankan counterpart Tilak Marapana and held discussions on various aspects of bilateral cooperation. On the occasion of Swaraj's visit to the country, Sri Lanka released 76 Indian fishermen as a goodwill gesture. Swaraj arrived in Colombo on Thursday and inaugurated the IOC along with leaders from other member countries. She called for cooperation among the Indian Ocean nations to ensure its waters remain safe and secure. The first edition of the IOC was held in Singapore in September 2016.
In news from Pakistan, Pakistan's Karachi city on Friday crawled back to normal life after heavy monsoon rains battered the country's largest city on Thursday and wreaked havoc. The rain-related incidents claimed more than 20 lives in the metropolis, while electricity supply was suspended to several areas of the city.
Life gradually returned to normal in Pakistan's Karachi city on Friday, a day after floods following heavy monsoon rains wreaked havoc on the sprawling metropolis. More than 20 people were killed by flooding and other rain-related incidents in Karachi on Thursday. The heavy monsoon rains brought life in Pakistan's largest city to a halt, disrupting traffic and destroying homes. On Friday, residents living in low-lying areas were seen clearing debris and mud outside their homes.
हम लोग अपने घरों में बैठे हुए थे और एकदम आंधी तूफान आया और फिर उसके बाद हमारे घरों में पानी घुस आया, हमें तो पता भी नहीं चला। बच्चों के कपड़े वपड़े ऐसे ही पड़े, हम लोगों ने बोला पता नहीं कहाँ से एकदम पानी आ गया।
The deaths on Thursday were the latest in a disaster that has so far killed more than 1,200 people across the region encompassing India, Bangladesh and Nepal.
कराची में सैलाबी सूरत हाल थी, बहुत हलाकतें हुई हैं कल और बहुत तबाही हुई है। काफ़ी इलाकों में लाइट नहीं, सारा दिन लाइट नहीं थी और लाइट अभी तक नहीं आई है कुछ इलाकों में और बहुत अब फिर भी मामूद ज़िंदगी जो है वो बेहतर होती नज़र आ रही है।
Rains regularly trigger floods in South Asian nations during June to September monsoon season. But the damage has been worse than usual this year, according to international aid agencies.
Meanwhile, Baloch activists across the globe in recent months have stepped up their efforts for an independent Baloch nation. They allege that Pakistan is committing human rights violations, and the practice has increased after China-Pakistan Economic Corridor infrastructure projects.
People in southwestern Balochistan province have for decades been the victim of human rights violations meted on them by Pakistan. Baloch activists allege that their people have been tortured, abducted and finally killed for raising their voices against atrocities. They say that shutting the voices of Baloch people have increased after the multi-billion-dollar China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or CPEC.
The Pakistan and China both together, so they started massacre and they have destroyed many houses and they killed many Baloch, whatever the route, which is like they're making a route for the economic corridor, and during that making those route, whatever comes like houses and near those areas, so they're destroying the all things.
Baloch said that despite Pakistan's best efforts to press their demand, someday they will be successful in their fight for freedom.
We are suffering and we are struggling for our freedom movement, and I am pretty sure once you try to do something, it's the natural thing. One day you will be success, and we are pretty sure will be success one day.
Baloch said that international community, including the United Nations, should intervene into the matter and help resolve the issue.
Moving on to news from Afghanistan. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani on Friday called on the anti-government armed groups to choose the path of peace. He said his government is ready for comprehensive political talks with Pakistan.
Afghan President Ashraf Ghani on Friday said that it was time for the anti-government armed groups in the country to choose the path of peace if they are Afghans. Attending the prayers of Eid-al-Adha festival at the presidential palace, Ghani called for unity among Afghans. Ghani said he once again extended the hand of peace to all the militant groups and that peace is the order of God.
مخالفین مسلح افغانستان باید انتخاب کنند. وقت از این رسیده که انتخاب کنند که افغان هستند و از مادر افغان شیر خوردن و از مادر وطن الهام گرفتن یا وسیله نفاق و شفاق و خوارج است.
Also delivering a message to neighbor Pakistan, he said Afghanistan is ready for comprehensive political talks with Islamabad. He also commended the sacrifices of the Afghan security and defense forces in their effort towards better Afghanistan. Pointing out to recent attacks on mosques in the country in which many lost their lives, Ghani called on the people to stay united.
United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan has expressed its concern over civilian casualties in airstrikes in the country this week. It urged authorities to ensure a fair investigation in the incidents while saying it will continue its independent work to establish the facts.
The United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, or UNAMA, has shown concern over civilian casualties in recent airstrikes in the country. In a statement on Thursday, UNAMA said it is gravely concerned by the killing of at least 28 civilians during airstrikes in Herat and Logar provinces this week. The organization called the incident saddening and unacceptable, while pointing that all feasible measures should have been taken to protect civilians. Earlier, NATO's Resolute Support Mission in Afghanistan confirmed that they were aware of the incidents with potential civilian casualties and an investigation has been launched. UNAMA has recorded a 43% increase in civilian casualties from aerial operations during the first 6 months of 2017 as compared to the same period in 2016.
Muslims across India and Bangladesh began Eid-al-Adha celebrations, a major festival of Islam celebrated across the world. Eid-al-Adha or Bakr Eid festival starts just 2 days after the start of Hajj, the important annual Islamic pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia.
Muslims in Srinagar city of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Friday began preparations for Eid-al-Adha celebrations. They thronged markets to shop for new clothes and sweets to celebrate the festival over the weekend. As part of the celebrations, people offer prayers, dress up in new clothes and feast with family and friends. The festival is observed around the world by Muslims to commemorate the willingness of Prophet Ibrahim to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God. It is thus also called the Festival of Sacrifice.
इस बार हमने बहुत सारी स्पेशल प्रिपरेशंस की हैं। ग्वालियर की मिठाइयाँ हमने इंट्रोड्यूस की हैं, काजू की बर्फी बनाई है, अखरोट की बर्फी बनाई है, अंजीर की बर्फी बनाई है, ईद की बहुत स्पेशल मिठाइयाँ बनाई हैं हमने।
Meanwhile, Muslims in India's southern Thiruvananthapuram city thronged mosque to offer prayers ahead of the festival. They remembered the teachings of the Prophet and prayed for world peace and religious harmony.
Very happy about the Eid celebration, and also it came along with the Onam holidays. So it's a combination, and we will be celebrating with the neighbors and the relatives together, and that is the glory of the whole Eid.
Meanwhile, Eid-al-Adha celebrations also began in neighboring Bangladesh. Scores of passengers climbed onto overcrowded trains in capital Dhaka on Friday to return to their hometowns to celebrate the festival over the weekend. Bangladeshi Muslims mark Eid-al-Adha with a huge feast during the 4-day celebrations.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Rescue efforts end in India's Mumbai building collapse, 34 dead. Afghan President calls on insurgent groups to choose path of peace in Eid address. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.